Some dreams are merely fleeting glimpses of daily life, but others seem to unlock a window into what's to come. Back in 1999, an unknown illustrator from Japan released a peculiar little manga that quietly documented 15 prophetic dreams she once experienced. Gradually, one after another, those dreams began to materialize. Yet the most chilling detail is that the final dream has yet to occur. According to the book, it is predicted to unfold precisely at 5 a.m. on July 5, 2025. So what did this dream contain? And why has it continued to haunt readers for over 20 years? Today, we'll attempt to unravel the mystery. Buckle up as we dive deep into today's story. But first, if you like and subscribe before this video ends, they say your luck might just. On July 1st, 1999, a strange comic book was released in Japan. Its title was simple yet quietly evocative: The Future I Saw. At the time, it passed largely unnoticed. There was no real reason it would stand out. The visuals were modest. The artist behind it was unknown, and no media outlet gave it coverage. In fact, even if someone had casually picked it up and flipped through the pages, all they'd have seen were a series of surreal dreams, rendered in pencil sketches, annotated with a few sparse notes scribbled in the margins. It resembled nothing more than a dream journal, a collection of sketches, at times messy, abstract, or so cryptic their meanings were nearly indecipherable. And yet, more than a decade later, on March 11, 2011, Japan was shaken by a devastating earthquake and tsunami that ripped through the northeastern part of the country. Over 15,000 lives were lost. Tens of thousands were declared missing. The world watched in silence as one of the most technologically advanced nations on Earth was consumed by the sea. During that period of fear and confusion, an unexpected revelation surfaced online, spreading rapidly through Japanese digital communities. Someone recalled that obscure manga, and what they found shocked many, because 12 years earlier, one of the dream sequences within the book had eerily mirrored the events of March 11. There were drawings of seawater flooding city streets, tsunami waves crashing inland, and even the numbers 311 appearing on the cover, seemingly warning of a disaster yet to be understood at the time of publication. The coincidence was too exact, too detailed to overlook. Thousands began hunting down copies of the comic. They scrutinized each page, each sketch, every margin note, searching as if decoding a message from the future. And what they discovered was even harder to believe. Within the pages were 15 dreams, and by readers' count, 12 and a half of them had already come true. When The Future I Saw was suddenly thrust into the public after the 2011 catastrophe, the first question everyone in Japan wanted answered was, who was behind it? But all anyone had to go on was a brief, ambiguous pseudonym, Tatsuki. No biographical detail, no traceable records. Not even the publisher could provide a current contact. In a world where almost everything leaves a digital trail, Tatsuki's continued anonymity added an unsettling layer to the mystery. As Tatsuki's name went viral, fake accounts flooded social media. Imposters claimed authorship, released supposed new prophecies, and triggered a wave of confusion. Some suspected a deliberate hoax. Others speculated Tatsuki wasn't a single person at all, but a front for an organization or a product of clandestine influence. Then, in October 2023, just as public interest in the manga's predictions was rising again, Tatsuki returned, this time by republishing the original book, now enhanced with detailed explanations and commentary. Still titled The Future I Saw, it was no longer just a collection of strange dreams. It had evolved into a deeply personal chronicle of what she had seen, recorded, and carried with her for decades. In this updated edition, Tatsuki shared details about herself. Born on December 2, 1954, in Kanagawa Prefecture, now residing in Yokohama. Her upbringing was ordinary, like millions of post-war Japanese children. She loved to paint, sing, and was dreamy and sensitive. But she possessed one extraordinary trait. From age 9, she began having dreams that were unlike those of others. In these dreams, an old man with silver white hair, gentle eyes, and a calm voice often appeared beside her. He would talk to her about things that had not yet happened. They would walk together under moonlight, and he'd whisper of future events, many of which she would only understand years later. The first dream that deeply disturbed her occurred in 1976. One November night, she saw a man singing under bright stage lights, suddenly collapsing as the light faded. She instantly recognized the man, Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen. In 1976, Freddie was in his prime, healthy, powerful, filling stadiums. To predict his death seemed absurd. Yet instead of dismissing the vision, Tatsuki quietly sketched it and documented it in her journal. 15 years later, on November 24, 1991, Freddie Mercury died. News outlets dedicated tributes. Newspapers displayed his photo. When Tatsuki opened her old journal, she was stunned by what she had drawn. For the first time, she was afraid that her dreams were something more. What truly unsettled her wasn't just Freddie's death, but a clip she saw on TV, a documentary about a biographical film being made in his honor. In her 1976 journal, she had drawn a film crew shooting a scene about a deceased artist. The similarity was unnerving. She told herself it was coincidence, but deep down, she knew such perfect coincidences rarely are. After that, her prophetic dreams became more frequent, and a pattern emerged. Some came true in 5 years, some in 10, others in exactly 15. She began recording every detail, settings, sounds, colors, names, even the feelings they evoked. On August 31st, 1992, another dream arrived. She saw herself walking down a long corridor lit by towering windows. At its end hung a painting of a blonde woman holding a child, the word Dana scrawled across it. Then, a flash of light, the sound of metal, screams. 5 years later, on August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana died in a Paris car crash. Tatsuki's dream journal had captured it in haunting precision. By 1995, the dreams were increasing in scale. Natural disasters, geological shifts. She felt an urgency to compile them into what would eventually become the future I saw. One night in 1995, Tatsuki dreamed of the old man once more. He guided her to a cracked, broken land filled with choking dust. She awoke, disturbed. It was January 2nd, 1995. She noted the dream and sketched the ruins, writing, "Something will rupture in 15 days. Exactly 15 days later, the Great Hanshin earthquake struck Kobe. Nearly 6,500 lives lost. Japan was shaken to its core. After that, Tatsuki no longer doubted. She believed the future was sending messages. So she published her dreams, but then vanished from the public eye. The story might have ended there until a new dream forced her to break 20 years of silence. In July 2021, she woke up in a panic. She had dreamed of standing in an endless field of water under a sky ashen and sunless. The sea south of Japan bubbled violently. Then, from the depths, 2 massive dragons rose, twisting, writhing, clawing at the Earth's crust. A tremendous explosion followed. Then silence. The dream, she realized, was a continuation of one she had in 1999. But now it was clearer and more violent. She could no longer stay silent. In 2023, she republished The Future I Saw, now with new dreams and a critical warning about a coming disaster. In the dream, she stood at a towering height, gazing at the sea south of Japan. All was calm, until giant air pockets began to surface, signaling an underwater volcano. Then came the dragons. They formed silently beneath the water, encircling a bubbling core. Then a column of water shot skyward. A tsunami more terrifying than 2011 struck. Waves 3 times taller, swallowing everything. Buildings, cars, people. After the wave, a landmass emerged, new and raw, like an ancient creature awakening. She knew with certainty this land would link Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the Philippines into one massive continent. To most, destruction marks an end. But in Tatsuki's dream, the end was also a beginning. What made it unforgettable was this. She had seen the date. Clear as day, 5 a.m., July 5th, 2025. She knew some would scoff, but if even a few believed and prepared, perhaps the impact could be lessened. Some dismissed Tatsuki's visions as anxiety, but those who followed her since the 70s know one thing. Her dreams are not easily brushed aside. So the final question remains, could this really happen? Surprisingly, the answer is yes. Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a hot spot of tectonic activity and underwater volcanoes. These plates move yearly, triggering quakes and eruptions. In 2013, one such eruption near Nishinoshima created a new island. By 2021, another emerged in the Kuril Islands. No warning, just sudden land where none had been. These events, though small, support Tatsuki's visions. Her drawings of two dragons align with tectonic plates beneath the sea, the Philippine Sea Plate and the Pacific Plate, precisely where the risk of eruption is greatest. One final dream has haunted Tatsuki since the 1990s. She hesitated to reveal it, not from fear of disbelief, but from knowing that humanity might be helpless to stop it. In that dream, a sound erupted from deep within the earth, so powerful it shook her in sleep. She saw a clock, 5 o'clock, morning or evening, she couldn't tell. She stepped outside. Roads were destroyed, buildings torn open, cars scattered, power flickered. A grand bridge was half gone, and no one was around. Beneath her, only water. She woke up with the sense that everything had ended. In her notes, she wrote, "I am not sure whether this dream reflects the 2011 disaster. What I saw was much worse, and I wore a short-sleeved shirt. Even though March in Japan is cold, that detail chilled readers. The 2011 tsunami struck in winter, but her dream described summer. And July 5th, 2025, falls in the summer season. You may not believe in dreams. You may not think the future can be glimpsed. But if any part of this story made you pause, even for a moment, I invite you to share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them, and if you'd like to continue exploring stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next video.